We are on daf. You can stay. You don't have to leave. It's okay. Don't feel pressure. It's okay.
Can you study while we're there?
Yeah, I don't know if it might be distraction, but you can stay. We are on daf. Neither. Oh, yes, right. Lamzai, I'm looking at the wrong page. Lamzai Ralph, correct. Sorry. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's about 10 lines down. Rabbi Yochanan, which is the okay. Rabbi Yochanan. Hu Yochanan, Hu Yochaz. These are among the last kings of the state of Yehuda. And Yochanan is Yochaz, and the Yochaz was one of the kings. You're planning on being here tomorrow night?
I understand that you're not going to be here.
If you'll be here, then I'll come back. He's not going to be here, but if you'll be here, then I'll come back.
Well, I'm not going to make you slip back.
Wait a minute, you're not making me slip back. Yerushalmi is making me slip back.
I don't feel.
You don't feel what? Believe me, I have no shackles to the wedding. I don't really feel. I didn't want to go. What do I know? No, it's okay. They don't know whose wedding it is on the tape. I have no shackles to the wedding. It doesn't make a difference to me. The only topic I would have is I might have to go sub at the academy tomorrow morning. But if I don't.
So at the academy?
Yes, Rabbi Kivilevitz's father was nifter. So if he asked me to call up the academy, his father lived here, but the Levi is going to be in Memphis. So he asked me to call the academy.
Oh, come back! I like the Yerushalmi so much. How come we moved into here?
It's quieter in here. Also, I understand it. So I might have to sub tomorrow night. Tomorrow, but even if I did, I'm going to have this problem for the whole week because he asked me to call them to see if they need me to sub the whole week. So therefore, tomorrow won't be different. So, Donald, are you planning on being here tomorrow night?
Let's see. Yeah, I should be.
Okay, so don't be sure. Maybe I'll schlep Dr. Svidel back from downtown with me. We'll see.
Are you going to that?
Yeah.
Food galore, I'm sure.
All right, Yochanan. The Yochanan said 10 lines down. We haven't started yet. All right. So tentatively, if I don't show up, if I'm not going to show up, then I'll call you. Okay, Donald. If I'm not here tomorrow night, the odds are I'll be here. If I'm not here, then you're here anyway for Night Seder, right? You don't come special for Yerushalmi. I mean, you come special for Yerushalmi to this room, but you're in the basement.
I should be.
Okay. Yochanan is Yochaz. Now, this is one of the last kings of the state of Yehuda. So, V'haksi, it doesn't say HaBechor Yochanan. We know Yochaz was not the Bechor. The Korban Eda brings down the order here. And it says that Yoakim was older than Yochaz. And he was a whole bunch of brothers were made kings. Yoakim, Yochaz, Tzidkiyo. So the Yochaz was king. Yet it says that he was and he said since Yochanan is Yoachaz, Yochanan is not enumerated as king. We're saying his alias was Yoachaz, his name was Yochanan, but it says that Yoakim was older than Yoachaz. So how can you call Yochanan the Bechor if he's Yoachaz and he was not as old as Yoakim? I assume that was very confusing the way I just put it. Does that make any sense? Does that make sense? Okay, fine. So it's really very simple. Okay, so Yochanan was it says Yochanan was the oldest, and then Yoakim, then Yochaz. So how can you say Yochaz was Yochanan? So it says, B'chor Malchus. He wasn't the oldest, technically speaking, Yoakim was older, but he was the first of them for the brothers to become kings. Rabbi Yochanan said, who's Sholem? There was another brother, his name was Sholem. He's the famous king Tzidkiyo, the last king of Yehuda. Ha'aksiv doesn't say Hashlishi Tzidkiyo Barbi Sholem. Doesn't say the third brother Tzidkiyo and the fourth brother was Sholem. Shlishi Tolados, same person. He's the third in terms of birth order. Reviel Malchus and fourth in terms of his kingship. There was Yoachaz, Yoakim, and Yechoniah, and then Tzidkiyahu was last, and he was Shalom. Another interpretation, and Tzidkiyahu is called Tzidkiyahu Shetzig Lov Tzadini, accepted by himself the judgment that he would be the last king, and Shalom, not in the terms of peace as we would normally imagine, but Shebiyam of Sholma Malchus Beis David. In his days, the house of the kings of David was completed. Okay, says the Gemara. Lo Shalom Havashmei. Truth is, his name was not Shalom. Of Lo Tzidkiyahu Shmei, and Tzidkiyahu is not his name. Rather, Elamatanya. His name was Matanya. He called him Shalom, and Tzidkiyahu because of the events which occurred. Although we'll see that which it says, the king of Bavel took Matanya, his uncle. He was the uncle of, I forget who. One actually, he was, and Tzidkiyahu was not a brother. Yoachaz, Yoakim, and Yechoniah were brothers, and Tzidkiyahu was an uncle of those guys. I'm saying like that. Anyway, so he was, his name was Matanya, and his name was changed to Tzidkiyahu. Okay, now the next sugya for the next few, actually the next almost a whole lot, is all appeared once before in the Gemara in Yerushalmi Shkolim, and there are parallels throughout the Bavli to it, but not the precise sugyas in Shkolim as well. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan said, the Aron was made of an am of 6 tvachim. Matana am of shisha tvachim was the one who says an am of 6 tvachim. Rameir. It's Rameir. The Tanan, we learned Rameir says, Kol amos you pay Beinonios. All the amos in the Beis HaMikdash were amos Beinonios. Beinonios means average amos, and average amos are 6 tvachim. Al daiti Rameir, the Amar Ba'amos Shisha tvachim hayar ron asui. According to Rameir, says that the horn was made in a am of 6 tvachim. The length of the arm was chamisha, as far as 15 tvachim. The Chsiv it says Amasayim v'chetzi arko. Its length was 2.5 amos, which is 15 tvachim. Amo ashto, amo 6. V'amo ashto, another amo is another 6. Upagos amo is half amo. That's 3, 6, and 3. That's 12 and 3, 15, talking all together. And there are 4 tablets within the ark. 2 broken ones and 2 whole ones. The Chsiv it says, Asher Shibauto, that you broke, V'samto, and Baron placed them in the Aron. V'aluchos ayu kol echad ve'echad, Shisha orchon, Shisha tvach, Rachman shlosha. The luchos, each set of luchos was 6 by 3. Right, because each one was double tablet. The tablet was 3 by 3, and therefore, if you have 2 tablets, it's 6 by 3, and if you have 4 tablets, because you have luchos and shiur luchos, it is 6 by 6, right? So if you have 6 by 6 is actually 36, right? And if you had actually an aron, which is 15 by 9, so there's plenty of room to get both luchos in, and besides that, a sefer Torah to boot, as we will see momentarily. Okay? So it says the Gemara, put the width of the luchos opposite the length of the arm, right? So each one is 6. So 6 and 6, right, is 12, right? Put them next to each other, right? So 6 and 6 is 12. And how many more tefachim do you have left over? 3, right? So if you have 3 left over, right? So half of each tefach was the wall of the yard itself. There are 2 tefachim left. The Sefer Torah for the Sefer Torah, which was placed in the Aron Kodesh. There was a Sefer Torah in there as well. Okay? The Sefer Torah which Moshe Rabbeinu wrote. Take out the next, 2 words and involve in front of the last word. Rachva shel Aron tisha tvachim. The Aron was to 9 tvachim. Why? The Chsiv Amma b'chetzi arko. Amma is ishton Amma 6. Upagos Amma shlosha. And a third half Amma is 3. V'arba luchos yibo. And there were 4 luchos in it. Shnayim shvurim, 2 broken. Ushnayim Shleimim, and 2 whole, right? So the Chsiv, it says, Asher Shivarta V'samtom Ba'aron. Actually, technically speaking, they weren't. They were next to each other, right? So therefore, each one was 3 tvachim deep. So actually, I'm not even sure exactly what the Yerushalmi is trying to tell us here. I don't know if you can conceptually get the picture, but if you have 15 by 9, unless Yerushalmi means and I'm not going to draw it because it's going to be too complicated. It'll take too long. But unless Yerushalmi means that each luach of the 4 luchos was 6 by 3, then it would make sense. Because it still wouldn't make sense. Wouldn't be enough room, would there? There would. Yeah, but you needed it still took up the same space as if it wasn't broken.
Not necessarily. It could be one piled on top of the other.
But there's still plenty of room. Even let's say each luach, each of the tablets was 6 tvachim wide by 3 tvachim. So if you line up, I think that's probably what the Yerushalmi means. Actually, if you line up the 4 tablets in a row and they're 3 tvachim wide, right? So that's 12 tvachim, right? And that leaves you 3 tvachim remainder. 1 half on each side, half for the wall, and half. No. Half for the wall and 2 tvachim for the Sefer Torah, right? 2 for the Sefer Torah. And then going across, each luach is 6 tvachim wide, right? Because each luach is 6 by 3. I'm assuming each luach is 6 by 3.
It's a very wide luach.
Well, they're very heavy. We know Moshe Rabbeinu carried them b'nes. So each one is 6 by 3. So therefore, again, you have 6 across. That's out of a total of 9. So it's going to leave you the same 3 tvachim left over for the same purposes. Okay? So probably it was each luach. I thought the luachs were perfect squares, but not. Obviously, each luach was a rectangle according to this. Okay? So it says in the Gemara, put the length of luchos opposite the width of the aron, which is 6 tvachim across. The shtayr sham shlosha tvachim, there are 3 tvachim left. Chatzi tech mikan, chatzi tech mikan. Half them each side. There are 3 words missing here, according to Carbonate. It should be lekol kaisel for each wall. Uveis tvachim and 2 tvachim l'shilut in order to be easy to get them to take the luchos in and out. U'Baruch Shmicha Bo Sefer Torah, the place of Sefer Torah, they was put, which Shnei Tzivchaim was 2 teflon. That was at the one end, and then of course there was room also there for widthwise for the Sefer Torah as well. Rishim and Lakish are Rishim Lakish is a different perspective. He says, "Ba'am shel chamisha tefachim yaron." So the aron was made in a am of 5 tefachim. Matan Amashul Chamishat Tvachim. Who's the author of such a opinion? Rabbi Yehuda says Amos Rabbi in the construction phases of Beis Hamikdash, Shishat Tvachim was 6 Tvachim. Shelchen the Amma used in the fashioning of the Kelim Beis Hamikdash was 5 Tvachim. Hey, Noron Klihu, and Noron is a Kli, so therefore it was 5 Tvachim Amma instead of 6 Tvachim Amma. How died Rabbi Yehuda, the current Rabbi Yehuda, that the Amar says Shachamisha Tvachim Yar, well, 5 Tvachim Yar run asui. Orko shel Aron Shneimos Tvachim Nechza. The Aron was 12.5 Tvachim long, right? How so? The Chsiv Amasayim B'Chetz Yerko, it says 2.5 Amos, so it's a length. Amso is Chamisha, V'Amso Chamisha, that's 10. Upal Gusamso and half an Amma, that's train. That's the train of black, that's 2.5. There are 4 luchos in it. Shtayim shru, and 2 whole and 2 broken. You broke them, put in the aron. Luchos you call echad each luch was 6 tvachim. One shosho 6 by 3. 10 luchos the same. Basically, give the width of the luchos opposite the length of the aron. Now, if that's the case, we're way down now, right? Because we have 2.5. which times 5 instead of 2.5 times 3. So 2.5 times 5, we just said is 12.5. Thank you. So Rachel Shalaron. I'm sorry. 10 Rachel Shalar. The Shtaim Chati Tefach. Oh, he had a very tight squeeze. There's no room for the Sefer Torah. There was happened to have a left etzba l'ksolim. He learns the walls are much thinner. There were an etzba mikan, betzba l'ksolim mikan, and you have another etzba of like space to get a grip of the luchos in case you have to take them off. The rachvo shel take them out. Rachvo shel aron shiva tvachim mechza. The aron was according to 7.5 wide. Why is that? The Chsibit says, its width was 1.5. Amsa is chamisha tvachim. Amsa is 5 tvachim. Upalgus amsa another half an amma is train uplag 2.5. Varba luchos how you bought 4 luchos for an inch time shlemish time shuri. 2 broken to all luchos asher shivarta v'sam tova yomit. It says that you broke and put in the aron. Now after luchos so you sham. You call echo ve'echo, and each and every one knows Orchot Shisha Tvachim Brachman Shlosha 6/3. 10 organ shluchos put the width, the length of the luchos, l'rach v'shalar to the width of the aron. The shtar sham tevach u'mechza. There was a tevach and a half left, right? 6 out of 7.5. Etzra ksolim and etzra each for the walls. Mikan mikuvetzel ksolim mikan. Etzra for each one of them. V'chatzi teva mikan, v'chatzi teva mikan, half them on each side. Lishilu to get the luchos in and out. Okay. Ketzras b'tzal esar. Of course, according to the Sefer Torah, was not in the luch in the aron. Where was the Sefer Torah? It was on a shelf, a ledge next to the aron. The Bible says it was on. They put it either in or on the argaz, the box which the Plishtim sent back, of course, many years later to Am Yisrael as a present when they had taken the aron from them. Okay? Says the Marachin Mer Shalosh Teva Shason. If so, I read it, but I'll read it again. Ketza Sabbath House Aron. I make the Rabbi Chanina Marachin says Shalosh Teva Shason. He made it 3 boxes. How did he make it 3 boxes? Shtaim Shazov, 2 of gold. Vachas shel 8 and 1 of wood. V'natza shel zav shel 8. He put the gold one into the wooden one. The shel 8 shel zav and the wooden one into the gold one. V'tzipo, and that way he covered the wooden ark with the golden arcs. Although the Siddur which it says tzipiso so zav starting by its chutz, cover it from the inside and the outside with gold. Why does it say additionally titzapenu once more? Cover it. So you know that the upper rim should also be covered. The rim obviously was where the wood could have been exposed on top. So even that was not exposed, rather was covered with gold as well. Okay? Says the word no different shot. It was 1 box which they made, no 3. And he says Tipo, excuse me, they covered it, but not with a separate arm, but rather with like kind of smearing or coating the gold on the arm. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it. The Tzipiso, it says, the Tzipiso, so Talmud Zahav Torah covered with gold, pure gold and bicycles on the inside. That means as a covering, not as a separate layer. Matam Tzipiso Zahav Torah, I'm sorry, Matam Lom Tzipiso, why does it say Titzapenu? That's the case. What does it mean when it says Titzapenu? According to Reish Lakish, according to Rabbi Yochanan, it means cover the rim. According to Reish Lakish, everything is covered anyway. That's how it's in Titzapenu. That's it learned out. Titzapenu. That's why he has the Titzapenu. So what does Rabbi Pinchas do with Titzapenu? What does Reish Lakish do with Titzapenu? Did I just confuse you? Yeah. Okay, the word Titzapenu is used by Rabbi Yochanan teaches that they have to cover the rim. So what does Reish Lakish do with the word Titzapenu? He holds there's no rim to cover. The whole thing was covered. It was like kind of dunking the yarn in gold, it just came out, covered. So what were you coating? So he says that tapenu means, interesting point that you actually had to put gold between each of the boards used in building the aron. In other words, it wasn't just coating with gold on the outside, but between the boards. We had this actually similar thing earlier, a few blot ago. Adaflan Beis said when they built the Mizbeach on Har Grizim, according to Reish Lakish, they covered it with plaster. According to Reish Lakish, they put the plaster between the nooks and crannies, very similar to what we're saying over here, that they put the gold between the nooks and crannies. How is Luchos written? Donald, how many commandments are on each Luch?
There are 5 in each.
Wrong. Okay. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, no, there is not true. There's one opinion which holds like you. Chamisha Luach Zev, 5 on each tablet. That's like Don. Rabbi Amri, no, Asar Luach Zev, Asar Luach Zev, they put 10 on each one. He told you his covenant. Asher Tzivah Eschem La'asos, that she commanded you to. Aseres Advorim. Beats me how we get out of this pasuk. Somebody gets this pasuk. Asar Luach Zev, 10 each on each tablet. I guess because otherwise it wouldn't be a totality.
Well, I guess everybody better go back to the basic process and change all the things.
The Lubavitchers actually do that. Did you know that? Do you know what change Lubavitchers make? There are 2 major things Lubavitchers. I mean, there are many changes Lubavitchers. But 2 major things which have to do with ritual observance. In Hanukkah, they always make the menorahs with straight branches, as opposed to curved branches. Why? Rambam. That's how the Rambam drew his menorah. Also, the other thing is this case over here that what was I going to say? Yeah, the luchos, right. They have the luchos always squared off on top. Yeah. Because they were not rounded. Who made the luchos rounded?
C.B. DeMille.
No, before that. It's all ancient, from Michelangelo's time. That's not from the... Yeah, he made the rounded luchos.
It wasn't artistic enough.
Right. Okay. I think it's Michelangelo. Sistine Chapel, I think so.
He put the horns on Moshe's head.
Wasn't it the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo? Okay.
So the Sistine Chapel, that's what it shows?
Yeah.
Well, I always wanted to know from those people that think that Moshe had horns, Christian had, that Jewish people had horns. What's the horns on Yoshki? He was Jewish, wasn't he?
That was a sign that he was not. Okay.
Where's this Gemara before? Do we have this in Babylon?
Shkolim.
We have it in Shkolim.
Yeah.
Really?
Why does the Gemara go? What was the?
Wait, we're not finished yet. Rashid 20 in each one. That's very strange. How do you get 20, right? We only have there some libras, right? So how is it 20?
Because
it's there. That's all.
No, it could be read on the. It was written on the back too.
I thought it
On
went
the back of the luch. So that's a shiur when it went all the way through was read backwards or not. That's a shiur in Gemara Shabbos. But went all the way through, so there were 20 luchos. There are 20 dibros. Now, you see, V'yagelechem es bisa asher tzivah eschem lasos aseres advarim. He commanded you commandment aseres advarim. I guess dvarim is a plural. But esem l'or zev. 20 each one. Rabbi Simon mer abayim l'or zev. What's his cheshbon? I have 40.
10 on top, 10 on bottom, 10 on top, 10 on bottom.
Let's put our thinking caps.
10 on one side and 10 on the other side.
Yeah, on all 4 directions, north, south, east, west. Okay, good. Now it's good thing you joined our shiur. We need some fresh blood here. Okay, so
Awake blood.
Right. That's why I joined the diet absent the caffeine.
So actually, Okay, I saw myself, I forgot. Okay, says Gemara, and Rabbi Simoyim again, Tetragoina, I think tetragon is core 4, and from the Latin. Said a very famous medrash, actually, Gemara. Called Dibur v'Dibur, train each and every Dibur, Diktuk Keavos, yes, it's Diktukim, it's details, and it's letters, right? That we know that, as it was said on the first Luchos, everything was written on the Luchos themselves. Mulayim Tarshish, the Luchos were full like Tarshish. Tarshish is a precious stone, and also a seaport, and we darshan that's Kiyama Rabbah, like the great sea of Tarshish. And Rashim ben Lakish, Karav Matila in Crow, when he came to this pasuk, he said, Yatulim Dani Chanania Benachi Rabbi Yeshua. The son of Rabbi Yeshua taught me very well. My Amazeh, just like this sea, ocean or sea, Ben Galgada Lagalkado, between each great wave, Galmtan or small waves, Kach Ben Kodavar Bedavar, so too, between each and every Dibur, Tiktu Kavos Yoseh, so quote unquote small stuff, the details. And letters of Torah were included. Amraitan Chumraitan was said, is Kashus Kamira Pinchos. Aser Farno cried Pinchos. Aser Krabi Yuda, Aser cried Meir. It sounds like this pasuk goes to Krabi now cried Meir. Why does it say, well, what's the raya? Matai, what pasuk is this? Matai Rabbi Yuda. What? Yeah, the Korach the Sefer Torah said, says take the Sefer Torah, and says, V'samtom also, you don't have this in the Gemara, neither do I, but it's in the Korban 8, and the second line from the bottom. V'samtom also, b'tzad Aron Bris Hashem. So he took the Sefer Torah, he put it next to the Aron Bris Hashem. So it's a raya that the Sefer Torah was not in the Aron itself, right? Says the Gemara, who's that lie? Rabbi Yehuda to Omar Echan Sefer Torah Unasun. Where's the Sefer? When Rabbi Yehuda says where's the Sefer Torah place? Kemingluski Sasulo. They made it a shelf. Bibachutz outside the Aron. But that's Sefer Torah. Those not themselves. Sefer Torah was on the shelf. That's what's mashmir in this Gemara.
Didn't they throw the man into the Aron also?
No, they had a special container. No, they didn't throw it into the.
Anyway, I thought they got stuck in the Aron.
It might have been the movie, I don't know, but not in the book. Okay? Ma'atama, do you see Raiders of the Lost Ark, Donald?
Yeah, of course.
I never did, but in my
Look away, and the angel of death will kill you.
You don't see inside the ark.
What?
You don't. The only time you see inside the ark is when these ghosts appear from them. That's the only time you ever peer into.
So they didn't actually resolve the issue of how the Luchos or the Sefer Torah were the Aron.
You don't see any Luchos, you don't even see any Sefer Torah.
Okay. Bummer. What can we do? We'll have to...
But they did say Brich Shmei.
Did they sing Be'en Arachit?
Did they sing it?
Okay. So bottom line is that we have no raya as to how it actually looked because we virtually Cecil. I mean, what's his name? Not Cecil. We didn't know the other guy. Spielberg. Right? Didn't give us a clue. But amen. So it says, since it says B'tzayro, it sounds like Rabbi Yehuda's Shita, right? I mean, Glus Kusai also B'chusay Sefer Torah and Asum Zohar. That Sefer Torah it was. My Torah, what Tzachar Meir says is inside the Aron itself, because it says Nasakas Kaporis. It says you should put the kaporas. Now, actually, this starts out being a right to Yehuda. Because it says, Nasadas kaporas says, put the kaporas ala Aron, milamala, on there on the top. And then, the first like I made, the pasuk goes on, and in the Aron, put the edus. So this is a little bit schwer, because you already put the kaporas on. You're putting the luchos inside afterwards. So this pasuk add the contrary. Must go to Meir says, according to Meir, he's going to go on a mukta mucha b'torah. In other words, that we don't pay attention to the order, regardless, even in the same pasuk. It's a chiddush here. We don't pay attention to the order when we're trying to ascertain the chronology, right? So it's not possible. It was so put on the kaporas and then put the luchos inside, but really the opposite was true. Okay, and this is the way to read the pasuk or Meir. Into the Aron, put the edus that I'm going to give you. And afterwards, decide this kaparas on milah, put the kaparas on the aron on top. Rabbi Shemilaki said, a very famous gemache, Torah shenasa Kosh Baruch, Torah shekosh Baruch gave, the parchment is white fire. It's engraved with black fire. The Torah is fire. It's mixed up with fire. Chatsuva meishon yun with fire. The suna meishon is given from fire. Mimino das lomo. From his right hand came the fire of the religion to us. So there's so many drushes to be made, but they're too fiery for right now. Says the Mishnah further. Medibur Ashotri. I really need a cup of coffee. The show. What? No, I'll go get myself in a second. Maybe I need it's an excuse to walk up and down the halls and wake up. It's stuff in here. Getting back to Moshe Muhammad, so he goes on and says the nation. Lemor. Somebody who built a new house and did not dedicate it. Go. Somebody who built a new house, or somebody who built a new warehouse for his grain, for his hay. Beis Habakar, a new stable. Beis Eitim, a new wooden store pile. Beis Otos, storage hut, I should say. Beis Otos, a new general warehouse. Doesn't mean if he's built. Bought. The Yersher inherited. Torah was given to his gift. It's all the same. Asher Barabais built a house in the El Asher Bara. I don't know if they built it. Likach, Lirash, I don't know if he blocked, I don't know if he bought it. Yorash, he never did it. Anita Lovatos, give it to him, give me that. How do we know that in this case he can go back home? Tam Belomer, it says, Aish. Right? It says Aish, mi Aish, who one built the house, coach said, mi Bonabais. Why does it say Aish? So it's going to tell us that, no matter how it came into their possession, that's sufficient. Okay, it's a little bit schwach, but that's what they want to say here. Right? That no matter how it came to you, right? Ish, bais, that's sufficient. Minayin abona beis teven beis bokar. How if somebody built a straw house for storing straw. A beis bokar, a cow barn. Beis Haitim, a wood shack. Beis Otos, a wine cellar. Now we know that he goes back home. No matter what he built, no matter who built, no matter what he built. Beis Shaz is true if he built an entranceway to a courtyard. Balsadra, a open air porch in front of a house, where passes a porch going to upper rooms of the house. Tablomar bias. Ma bias miuchachu beis dira. When do you get up to a year to renege on the deal, which is halacha by Beis Moshav Arei Choma, right? A house which is born in walled city. Where do you get a deal? Where a house which is normal for living. Yotzuel is supposed to do these she'enam beis which are not suitable for living. Okay? Yotza buy she'en bar amos and also a house which doesn't have 4x4 amos. Then we learn buy she'en bar amos, a house which has no 4 amos, alar amos, no 4x4 amos. But it's exempt from a market. Doesn't have to have a parapet around the roof. You know what the fancy word parapet means?
No. What's the question?
Parapet!
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
It's a guardrail.
Right, you don't need a fence around your roof. A parapet. Well, in Babasa, the
parapet is not.
yeah, word parapet is not. Okay.
Or it could be just someone has 2 paths.
Here's a clear. What?
2 paths.
2 paths. A quasi-pet. Parapet. Okay.
Paradox.
Okay. So this is not. It doesn't have the parameters of a base of a house. So therefore, it's not kind of a market. It's bottom market mezuzah from mezuzah mina eruv, and it doesn't have to give participate and make the municipal eruv. And the Toivel Meiser said its grain does not constitute a problem of Meiser because they never intended to acquire it. Vein. I'm not sure I translated it properly. Maybe I did not. Wrong. Ve'etamaisis means normally you bring grain to the house, you can't eat it anymore, you can't snack it. Because it's kavul and maisis, you have to take off maisis before you eat it further. But now if it enters the house which is less than 4 by 4 amos, it's not considered to be entering the house. If you continue to snack on it, right? If you have less than 4 amos, you don't give 4 amos as a loading dock, lifnei pisco in front of its house, in the courtyard. And you can't, if you have a shack like this within 72 amos to the city, you can't say, well, the city extends in that direction, and we start counting Erev Tchumen from that direction, which may be true if it's a legitimate city, but not over here, right? It can't become a chibur. Which I said, so 2004, even if it's 72 amos away, that doesn't work. Well, it works with a regular house. You know, if you have Erev Tchumen, means you go 2,000 amos from the last outpost on your way. So if you have one within 72 amos, even if it's very small, so it's less than 4 amos, you can continue, start your 2,000 amos meter from later on. Okay? Somebody takes an oath not to benefit from a house. Mutter Leishiba is not to fit in this thing because it's not a house, right? It's 4 amos. It's not considered to be to follow the parameters of Yovel. It's not mean it doesn't go back, but just doesn't follow the parameters of Yovel. And I think it's just babble. Yovel means it doesn't have the status. Underline the Moshe on this. It doesn't have anything to do with Yovel. It has to do with the fact that you get an extra year after the date of sale in order to renege on the deal in a house in the city. So you don't have that deal when it comes over here to a case of a house which was done for Amazon, it's to be a valid house, right? So it doesn't get a playground or anything with that. It doesn't get a playground. Let's get the 4 amos in front of the house. You know, you said before 4 amos. Each house gets its own yard, I meant to say. It doesn't get its own yard for amos, and that's why it doesn't get yovel. Anytime you're going to summertime, you're going. And getting back to why we brought it down here, its owners don't go back home if they built a little house like this, a little hut like this. They don't go back home from the front, right? Now, matam lomar asher bonah. Why does it say he built? Prat l'shenofo beso ubno. It excludes the case where it fell down and he rebuilt it. And remember, yes, to derive, and this is also in the Bali. So this Meresis tells us, if you take back your grusha, same thing like rebuilding your destroyed house. You don't go back from war for that. Okay? Now comes the new point, which is not in the Bali. What if you build a house for chutz la'aretz? You go back from war because you didn't do chanukas habayis. One which you did not consecrate and you're supposed to consecrate. As mitzvah chanchot, about one which is a mitzvah to consecrate it. There's no mitzvah to make a chanukas habayis in chutz la'aretz. So it's interesting. Bavli doesn't bring this down. Bavli brings down a case. So it says, if you stole a house, you don't go back home from the war front for it. But it doesn't bring down this case of Eretz Yisrael versus Chutz La'aretz distinction. I'm not sure why. Yeah, man, I don't think that's why, but it could be. All right. Anyway,
there's always more Zionism in the Yerushalmi.
Yeah, of course. But in the event, I'm not sure if that's the reason, but could be. Now, anyway, the next line is very, very important for here. The Sheila David of David Karliner, as long as question of Hilchos Mezuzah based on this. What if you built a house, but not to live in, for tenants to make money? So if your tenant already paid you for it, bottom line, consider it to be consecrated, and you go back home. Yes. Nasad Lo, Dr. Salisbury writing a new book on the basic terms which are required to learn Shas. What if he's only paying you at the end of the year? Until he pays you the rental. It's as if you, the landlord who built the house, haven't taken possession. Your taking possession is contingent on your receiving the rent. Okay? No, what if you locked it? lock the door. Is that sufficient to be considered to be a house which you go back to on war? So, Eshadar Chapotim, if they had objects in it, Eshadar Liboto, have its type of objects where he takes off time to watch them. It's considered as if he consecrated the fact that he stores in there. If not, they're not things which preoccupy his time or his inclination. Kamish as if it's not consecrated. Okay? In other words, it's as if it's not, it's as if it's not a full house. In other words, if you store in your house a face tiddlywinks, and you're not going to go and look for your tiddlywinks ever, that's which requires special shmir, so then it's not considered to be a chanukas abayis that you can go stay home for more for 12 months because of that. Okay? That's something significant that you were left there in the house. So you put it in your heart, it didn't redeem it. Thank you. It's true of somebody who plants a vineyard. Any of the 5 types of fruit trees. Even there's 5 separate types. It's true about planting. Mavrich is running a shooter out of the tree, down at the ground like a knee, and regrowing further down the line. And even if you graft, if you buy, inherit, you can sail from war. Astronaut planted in the astronaut, I only know if you planted. Look how what if you bought, your Rashi inherited, you know the Torah is confused, give me not. How many let's include as well. So he said in the last Mishnah, the last Gemara, it says the explanation teaches you all this. Miyoish says Miyoish, you didn't have to just said me. It doesn't say me, it says Miyoish. But this we learn out that any of these circumstances which you acquire in the vineyard. We know it's even true about it. So it's keren. I know it's 5 different types. Astronaut, anything you plant, no matter how you plant it. Where you plant only 4 fruit trees. And 5 are not fruit-bearing trees. Your clothes just go back home. No, it's got to be a keren. A vineyard, by definition, is 5 vines. Supposed to one which does not have 5 vines. Right. So then you can't go back home. Okay. Now, the next one has nothing absolutely to do with what we've been talking until now. Never stopped in Yerushalmi Sotah. No reason to stop it now. Now, what about grape juice? Now, to be honest with you, I do not know exactly how the grape juice process works. I understand that Mr. Welch was the one who patented the grape juice process in the 1800s, right? So before that, they really didn't have the kinds of grape juice which we have today. All grape juice would eventually become wine, because what we do is we heat it up and that kills the fermentation bacteria, or enzymes, whatever they are. But now, we don't have this concept of the, if you heat up grape juice, it kills the enzymes, which make it go ferment. Their grapes, they didn't heat up. They weren't concerned with hygiene. They weren't concerned with keeping the alcohol level down. So therefore, their grape juice would eventually become wine. What?
They didn't have to drive.
Right. The grape juice eventually become wine, but it wasn't fully wine yet. That's called yain koses, or yain mikito. Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss now. Okay, is that clear what we're discussing? Yain mikito. By the way, they say Louis Ginsburg has a very long tshuva written during the Prohibition. How you can use grape juice for all mitzvahs. And the truth is, it's hard to corroborate because, again, the modern grape juice is made by killing the enzymes, and here the enzymes just haven't worked their stuff yet. But he does have a tshuva like that. Okay, says the Gemara, Yain Mikito, Yain Mikito, the wine freshly out of the not the vat,
Press.
the press. Thank you. Press, from underfoot. Shayayin kaises wine, which is kaises. Kaises means it's bubbly. Marvila, you can use it for an eruv. No, it's considered to be food. You can use it to make eruv. P'shtaybo, if your shita was mevos, the same thing as an eruv. Umevachil, you can make a bracha and part gofen. Uzayla, you can make zeman on it. Umekachibos, a kalik, use it to marry a woman. Umnakim basavo, or could sold a dead person. Chanus could be sold in a bar, l'shem yain. Because in a bar, people don't care what kind of wine they're drinking. It's the honest engine truth here. If somebody sells his friend generic wine, because it doesn't cook grape juice, because it's not good enough to give your friend. It's good enough to hoodwink the public, but not to give it to your friend. Right? Not nice. So that would be a kind of like a mechatos. Okay? Right. Kalo, right. Well, they don't have to give it to her as a gift. It's not a gift to her. Okay? So in any event, there's a change of gears of the carbonator says that it's the same thing that Yainstam by Yainstam you can't give me Yain Koses, but alright, we'll just learn like it says here that you can't give it to your friend, you can give it for ritual, for the ritual purposes like marriage, kids, right? Keep saying marriage. Kiddush and stuff like that. Anyway, but if you drank this wine also, which seems to indicate that it's not 100% like grape juice, also right now at the pasta, because you're drunk. Well, I know it's better than matinek is also a function of psak. After you drank this, you'd be chayav. So what's the whole restriction of yain koses? The restriction is that he can't pour other wine on the mizbeach for libations. It's not proper to sach. It's not aged properly, dilute properly, it's no good. Says more further. We don't know if you steal Ben Saramar is supposed to steal right, or money to buy to Basar and Yain. What if he's a loser and steals grape juice? Is he a Ben Saramar or not? We don't know, says the Gemara. Okay? What about you plan? The Kem Chutzlaitz to go back to Amuloimar, the Lo Chilot, God, won't just subject to redemption. Esher Mitzlachalo won't just subject to redemption in the 4th year. Because first for a year, 3 years, it's oil, the 4th year, it's Kodesh, you have to redeem and take the Madush line, say it, Ma'aser Sheni, right? Esher Mitzlachalo, Yotzazeh Shem Mitzlachalo. Tanra, Elizabeth Yaakov Omer, Ein Mashba Ela Keren. It says Keren. With the kavasa, and therefore similarly a mashal nata. It says plantation. So therefore, Tani, you learn to the Brisa below kilulo. It's got to be something which you not redeemed. Prat markiv, as opposed to somewhere where you ran a shoot into the ground or grafted. So Amrav said that's only going to look at Belazim and Yaakov. But Belazim and Yaakov basically links the concept of Orla to the concept of Ma'aser Sheni here, right? He's saying that well. Let's invite them, let's come back to this. Everybody agrees. Now, everybody agrees Shir Peres Avera. When you grafted forbidden fruit. Let me go back. Not graft and not runners. It's got to be dafka planted. Kerem is like netia. Netia means planting in the ground. Can't be a graft, it can't be a runner, like you bend it back and grow it up again. And type lochilo pralamak in this price of system it says lochilo, it's got to be something just trying to redemption, not grafting or running shoots. It says Lesbian Yaakov. Lesbian Yaakov links going back towards being able to perform mitzvahs. No, it's not true. It's going to everybody. Now, let's talk about where the fruit came out of sin. What do you say about? When you graft it, which are for problematic thing. What do you say about? If you put a fruit tree and a fruit tree. But one's plums and one's peaches. So besides getting nectarines, it's an avera. Also, and here the Shaitar so good and try and throw in. They bring in the next line. And even putting a fruit tree on a barren tree, that's also Peres Avera. That's an Avera. So how are you you're gonna go back home because you committed an Avera and you want to enjoy the Geschmack of your Avera? Are you going to go home from war in order to enjoy the Geschmack of your Avera? So therefore it can't be Stama graft, because Stama graft is forbidden. Both Yamach and Iva Macho and Ila Macho on Ilan Srak as well, right? On a barren tree. So again, let's read or v'im b'shirkiv ilam machol gabi ilam. Sorry, put one barren tree and a fruit tree on a barren tree. So then Peres Avera, it's Avera. So now v'im b'shirkiv ilan machal gabi ilan machal, instead of slack, they change that and put it in machal b'mino. If it's talking about a case where you ran a graft from a fruit bearing tree and a fruit bearing tree, the same type. So now it's interesting discussion here. The Peshaita itself throws in the word lo. Lo noter l'chatchila.
Strange talking about a hirkiv. A hirkiv, it's almost like by definition has to be limbe sheino mino.
No, because it could be a different strains or stronger strains. And that's what the Shaitar itself throws in the word no, which is critical here. Although it seems to go in a Ephraim Marcus, but he says, take out the word srak, third line from the bottom, mimino, then lo kinoter b'tchilin. It's not like it's planned to begin with, and therefore, you don't go back for more from it. Why did you go back for more? It's not considered to be like a new tree. Lamaisa, the kilayim issue, the orla issue, doesn't come back. You took lemon tree and put it on another lemon tree. Even the graft was less than 3 years old and the trunk was over 3 years old, it retains its status over 3 years old. There's no orla issue anymore. So in that case, what would be the parameter which would give you the right to go home? It's not new. Am I explaining myself getting through? Yeah. It's not new. You grafted one on another. El Kenai comes. So says Yerushalmi, you know what? But this is like bad. You put a black fig on a white fig, or the other way around. Now, Lamaisa, in that case, it's not going to grow any better. You're not going to gain anything. It's not going to overcome. There's no orla problem either. It's not going to be a new tree. There's no orla problem. But nevertheless, it's a different tree, and therefore I might say you should go back home. That's what the bus says. Tell me, or we had the Chazaf that we had. Don't go back home in that case. Problem markiv. Okay, so in other words, I thought at first the orla halachas and the halachas here of going back home are linked. They're not linked. There can be a case where you're not chayiv an orla because you grafted an older tree into a younger tree, or vice versa. But nevertheless, there's a chiddush to be said, and despite that, I might think, well, it's a new davar. Maybe you should go over that. That's why that's not an avera, because you do plums and peaches, but you did one fig or another fig. Nevertheless, you can't go back home. Okay? When you took I daven Marv already, so you want to daven quickly, then we'll go. Let me just finish the Mishnah. When do you redeem fruit? It should be like Obechamishes. It's the 4th year and the 5th year. Now, it's an interesting thing. Obviously, you're Mechal your fruit in the 5th year, right? In the 4th year. That's what it says. You have 1, 2, 3 years of Orla, and 4th year is Neta Vaikarmavite. So what it means to say, though, is when is it considered to be the Chanukah that you should go back home? It's the 4th year when you have to redeem the fruit and bring the money up to Yerushalayim, or the 5th year when you're home free. Free of mitzvahs, right? So it says, the Gemara, the Stabra b'chamishas makes us say the 5th year, that's when you go back home. You gotta pay HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's not such a big simcha. No, Rabbi Gesar every law mistabel b'avis. No. So the 4th year. So see what it says in Rashon Arvis here, Kol Pirio Kodesh Hashem. It says in the 4th year the fruit is holy, Kodesh Hilulim, Kodesh to give praise to God, and we learned elsewhere in Shas, Al Tikrei Hilulim El Chilulim. When you redeem the fruit, that's an act of simcha. So, Sfas Emes, it's quoted in the Likutei Pshatim this week, right? Under a certain pseudonym, somebody writing on a pseudonym, not sure exactly what it is, but I have some idea. So the Sfas Emes on Shas says that V'shenichnas Adam Marmin B'Simcha is from the time of Parsha Shkolim, not from Rosh Chodesh. Because Am Yisrael is happy when it has to give. So here too, even though you have to pay for the right to eat on the fourth year, but it's B'Simcha because you actually are being able to give to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So actually you can go back home, not just in the 5th year, but also in the 4th year. We'll stop here for today.
This one is, you have a tree, but you don't know if it's a 3rd year, 4th year.
So Safik Orlin Chutzort is Mutter, but Eretz Yisrael is also.
But as well as that, they're considered a Safik, because I can go up to the tree, take a branch, slap it on.
You can have somebody give it to you, but you can't take it yourself. There are a lot of loopholes in Chutzort.
No, but why should this